Flosstube, and welcome to my Brakes For Stitches Flosstube number 3. It has been a long time since I did a Flosstube video. I don't think I've done one since before I went to Madrid. So if you're interested in my Madrid trip, then check out my 4 Boys and NL Girl Knitting podcast. The most recent one, which is episode 43, I think. Then that one will tell you, I put a whole section at the back all about the Madrid trip videos and pictures and things like that. So if you're interested, go check that out. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've been cross-stitching and a cross-stitch retreat that I went to in October in Ingersoll, Ontario, where I got to meet the wonderful Caroline of Off the Grid Needle Arts. Meet her in person. We've been friends for a little while online, but now we're real friends, face-to-face friends, even sisters. And I'll tell you a little bit about that as well. Plus I'm going to go over some of my plans for Flossmas 2018, which is a cross-stitching challenge that Caroline has. It's Flossmas and Flossica. So it's going to be either Flossmas or Flossica for those who don't celebrate Christmas. And it's going to be, anyway, I'll talk about Flossmas and Flossica in a minute. And I also wanted to show you some of my ornaments that I've been working on. So let's go right back. While I was away in Madrid, I think I had mentioned that I was going to be doing some cross-stitching, and I was cross-stitching one of my blue mansard houses, which is one of my patterns for a shop model for a friend of mine. And I was also working on an ornament, a series of ornaments that I was trying to get finished and then get out for when I got back home. And I managed to do that, so I'll show you the ornaments. This is a new pattern that I released at the end of October. Well, I released it the same weekend I was in Ingersoll. And I'll put a picture here to show you what they, or some pictures here to show you what they look like up close. And then hopefully I can get the camera to focus on these in real life. So these are, it's a series, these are based on German Christmas baubles so they're supposed to look like old-fashioned Christmas ornaments. And they have beads on them. They're really simple. The beading is really simple as well. That's one. This is 2. And number 3. Hopefully the camera is focusing on these. But like I said, I'll insert some pictures anyway in case the camera's not focusing so you can see those. The other thing that I had mentioned in my first Flosstube video was that I had some patterns that were going to be in an upcoming magazine, and I've received the magazine. This is the cover of a Needle Pulling Thread magazine. This is a Canadian magazine, and it's got quilt, sewing, knitting, crochet, cross-stitch, embroidery, and rug hooking in it. I was really excited to find out that this is one of my patterns right here. So it's on the cover page. So inside, and it's not just, there's a whole slew of beautiful patterns and knitting patterns and embroidery and quilting, all kinds of different patterns in here. So it's a beautiful issue. This is issue number, let's see if I can figure that out. I should know, but I cannot remember what issue this is. Issue 48. So this is issue 48. You can buy this on my online shop in my Etsy store. You can also find it at Chapters at maybe your local needlework store, your LNS. I'm not sure. I don't have an LNS, so I'm not sure if it's the kind of magazine that an LNS would normally carry or not, but they might. So check with that first. Like I said, you can get them on my Etsy shop, though I only have a limited number available. And at Chapters, and otherwise you can get directly from needlepullingthread.com and order from them directly. You can also get a PDF version of the magazine. And I wanted to show you this is the cover pattern, which is one of my Jelly Bean House patterns. Another pattern that's in that issue is this Christmas stained glass. So it's a stained glass window looking out over the twilight with some Christmas roses down at the bottom. And then last but not least is this Christmas Nutcracker. The tartan was inspired by the Canadian tartan, the Canadian national tartan. So I was really pleased with how these turned out. And my photographer Maggie, hi Maggie, is absolutely wonderful. Maggie does the photography for any of my patterns or magazine subscriptions, or submissions, I should say, and she does a wonderful job. I'll put Maggie's information. I put all my information for the show is on my website. It is actually, I have a new website. It's at 4boys and an nlgirl.ca. When you go to my website, it's 4 boys and a Newfoundland girl, but the website itself is 4 boys and an NL girl. I'll put that at the bottom of the screen. If you can't tell, I have a really bad cold, and I apologize that I'm videoing with a really bad cold. However, it was either that or I would have to put out a really long video the first day of Flossmas, because with Flossmas I'm going to try and video a short section every day or every few days, and I didn't want the first videos to be really, really long, because I have so much catching up to do. So this is it. This is me with a cold, but you can't catch it, so it's all good. The other thing I want to show you before I get into the Flossmas some such is that at the, so I did go to a cross-stitch retreat, as I mentioned, in Ingersoll, Ontario. It's only 20 or 21 participants, so it's a small cross-stitch retreat, kind of intimate. It's at the Elmhurst Inn and Spa, which is an absolutely stunning location, and at the end of the video I will put in some photography and video that I took from the outside of the inn on the Sunday when I left, because it was a beautiful sunny morning. It was just a great morning for doing some taping. But at the retreat I met so many wonderful women. Hi ladies! I'm not going to say everybody's name because guarantee I'll forget one and then I'll insult somebody. But what a wonderful group of warm and welcoming women. It was organized by Miss Patty. Hi Miss Patty and Joanne. You two I will single out because they were the organizers. As I mentioned, I got to meet Caroline in person. We got to sit next to each other and talk a lot. I'm not sure who would get the award for more talking, myself or Caroline. I got to meet Heidi Cran, who's another floss tuber. It was just a wonderful group of individuals, and one of the things, I mean, the great thing about getting together at a cross-stitch retreat, especially for somebody like me who has no local needlework shop, the only way that I have a Michaels, or I order things online. That's how I get my needlework supplies, as most people in the province get their needlework supplies. That's just, we don't have any other options. And one thing that's great at a cross-stitch retreat is you get to see all kinds of new tools and new patterns and all different kinds of things. And one of the things that we were talking about were frames. And I stitch in hand. So I use a sewing method that with the help of a kitten stitcher tutorial, sorry Teresa, a kitten stitcher tutorial a few months ago. I taught myself how to use the sewing method and stitch in hand. So I thought that I couldn't use a frame or a lap frame if I stitched in hand. Well, Caroline said, well, a lot of people stitch in hand. They just keep the tension on their frame a little bit looser so that they can still continue to stitch in hand. So that's what I've been doing. And I'm still not perfect at it, but I wanted to show you because after the cross-stitch retreat and a few weeks ago, just after around my birthday, which is the middle of November, I decided to invest in a lap frame. And I want to show it to you. I'm not sure how much of this you're going to see, because it's a fairly big frame for the frame of the camera, and but I will insert a picture so you can see it, and I'll also put a link to Hearthside Craftworks, which is where I purchased it. It's a shop that's in Calgary, Alberta, and Caroline had recommended them to me. Wonderful couple, wonderful customer service, really friendly, really quick shipping, and really reasonably priced for the quality of product, I think. So this is one of my pieces. These are on 20-inch. Yeah, the 20-inch scroll rods come with the frame. So hopefully, I'm going to do a close-up of the side so you can see it's 100% oak. That's what the side looks like. It fits. I haven't tried it in this chair because I usually sit on my couch. Woohoo! It is a perfect fit for this chair, but I would be worried it would slide off. So I don't think I will use it on this chair. But it has, one thing that I will show you while it's on here, is you can turn it completely over. 360 degrees. So it goes the whole way over, so that when you're stitching on the front, you can go really smoothly. Then we need to go to the back to tie things off, to snip a thread, to check on a knot. There's no problem, and I love this. This is something that the creators of these frames have patented. This is one that you can access everything this way. It's just a wonderful, wonderful setup. Hopefully my back of my cross stitch isn't too messy for you there, but I love it. And so thank you, Caroline, for suggesting this. It was a great investment. Now I'm thinking about getting the floor frame. So I've gone from frameless to frames. Now I still, if I'm working on a smaller piece, do not use a frame and stitch in hand. But this is not really a larger piece, but for me it's uncomfortable. I find that it's a fair bit of fabric to stitch in hand. And there's another one. I actually got 33-inch scroll rods, which is the main project that I purchased this frame for, that I'll be starting in December, or no, not with Flossmas, probably the new year. It's an antique sampler that I'm going to be doing, and that one is quite large, and I really needed a frame for that because I don't, with stitching in hand, I know that you can roll up the fabric and such, and there are ways of stitching in hand where the fabric isn't getting crunched up, but I'm more comfortable. I find that I'm more comfortable now using the frame, so that's great. Let's talk a little bit about Flossmas. So Flossmas, the name, originally came from Heidi Cran. Hi, Heidi. And which Caroline has been very open about. And the idea that Heidi came up with the word and told Caroline she could use it. And Caroline is going to start Flossmas this year, 2018, on December 1st. And the way that she's going to do Flossmas, because Flossmas is open, there's no rules. So you can do, it's slightly similar to Stitch Mania May. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. You can make it however you want it to be for you, whatever works. And for Caroline, she's going to stitch a new ornament every single day in December. So I decided that I want to join in. I'm not necessarily going to stitch just ornaments, but I have made a plan. Hopefully the camera focuses on that. You don't need to see it in its entire details, but that's my plan for the entirety of December and Flossmas. So I have every day accounted for, every pattern accounted for, and I have a start. So all my patterns are stacked up in order, and then using Caroline's new, I just received this. Caroline, I love it. It's a new wedge tote for Caroline's 2018 Evertote holiday kit. So I'm using that tote. Every week I'm going to fill this up with the fabrics that I need, the patterns that I need for that particular week. So this is it's a work in progress. I've got all my patterns in there except one, because one, and I'll show you, comes from Donna Cooler's Seasons and Cross Stitch book. And I'm working on two patterns out of here, but for the first week, I will be working on folk Santas. So I'm doing the middle one, the middle size one. It's actually the same pattern done in 3 different sizes and just different colors of coat. So I'm doing the red Santa. Hopefully you were able to see that. So cute. Let's see if there's another picture in the book. I bought this book secondhand, and these Santas are one of the reasons why I purchased the book. Let's see if I can find it better. Maybe not. Maybe I'm not going to. You can tell that I'm really congested. It's a good thing you can't pass on colds by electronic means. No, I can't find it. Anyway, hopefully the camera focused on that a bit. So all my patterns are in here, plus this book. And then I've got well, I'm dyeing this for 2 reasons. I've got 1.5 meters of 28 count Monaco. I buy mine in rolls because I do the cross stitch kits that I sell. So I'm going to now take this afternoon and coffee and tea dye it as per Chelsea and Priscilla's tutorial on YouTube. Again, I'll put all that information in the show notes. So it gets coffee and tea dyed and then baked in the oven for a bit. And this is going to be the Santa pattern that I just showed you is done on plain white Monaco. Or I'm going to do it on plain white 28 count Monaco. But most of the other patterns I'm going to be using this as a coffee tea dyed Monaco for them. So the only other thing I'll need to get for those is tomorrow, Friday, even though my boys are home, I'm going to have to take them to Michael's. I'm really looking forward to it. Hi again. Sorry about that. My camera died, and now I don't know where to look. My camera battery is exhausted, and I want to get this video out. So for the first time in my over 2-year podcasting career, I am taping on my phone. And it's kind of neat, but I'm going to move you a little bit forward. Come forward. Okay. I feel like you're too far away from me. All right, this is kind of different, but I can cope. So I think I was saying that tomorrow I need to take the boys to Michael's, and there's a couple of cross-stitch threads I'm going to pick up. Not a whole lot because I want to try and use the majority of colors for my stash, but there are probably, for example, in the Santa that I just showed you, there are some of the grays that are together and some of the reds that blend. I'll probably need to pick those up if I can't find the same DMC colors. I'm mainly going to use DMC. As I mentioned, I don't have an LNS. I don't have a huge selection of specialty threads like the Fancy Floss. Priscilla and Chelsea call it the over-dyed variegated floss. So I will need to mainly use DMC, and that's perfectly fine. And then I've got, throughout the month, I have a couple, 3 or 4 kind of larger special projects planned. And there may be a day or two when I actually start 2 projects instead of 1. I'm going to go crazy with Flossmas, mainly because I went through my books, I went through charts, just basically ones that I could find on the top of the pile, and then I realized, well, I really want to stitch this, or I really wanted to stitch that, and I think I'll just add it into the pile and see where I can fit it in, so that's what I'm going to do. That's it for me in Flossmas, or sorry, not Flossmas, that's me, sorry. That's it for me on Flosstube today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I've realized that I didn't even introduce myself at the beginning of this Flosstube video. My name is Patty, and I'm coming to you from the extreme east coast of Canada in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador on the island of Newfoundland. I live in a small town just outside St. John's, the capital of the province, on almost the most easterly point in North America. And I live here with my 4 boys, one of whom I married, and our 2 cats, and our lovely fireplace, which I wanted to show because it is a messy, ugly day out. So I thought I would show a little bit of coziness by having the fireplace in the background for a change today. So take care. I hope you have some time to do some stitching this week, and I will see you again on Saturday, December 1st. Take care. Bye-bye.